go along. There we go. That makes it a little better because I can see that the video is actually on. Hey, we'll see if anybody joins. This is the first time that we're actually broadcasting like across all social media applications. So we've got my personal Facebook page that we're broadcasting to. We've got the Inner Wealth Global Business page that we're broadcasting to. We're going to Instagram Live, and we're going to the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, or if you're not connected to any of those social media avenues, please do so. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us. It helps us create more, more reach, and helps us get our message out into the world. So if you haven't connected to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. Give us some love so that we can keep doing this, so we can keep spreading the message, and so we can keep impacting the world in a more powerful way. My name is Mike Kitko. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Inner Wealth Global, and our mission is very simple. We wake up every single day to make the world a more loving place, and we do that by helping people, individuals just like you, get the very most and very best out of yourselves, and to impact in your natural way, using your natural talents, using your natural skill set, using your genius. We all have genius. It's just most people never really truly tap into it. So when you tap into your genius and you harness the power of your full mindset, your full heart set, and you like hit the gas on who you are in your intended purpose and passion, you're going to start feeling the intense amount of love that you possess inside. And that's when we make the world a more loving place. So what I want to do is we're going, my director of operations, Bree Baker, is also watching. And between me and Bree, we're here to help, and we're here to support, and we're here to serve. So if you have any questions for me or Bree, our email addresses are mike@innerwealthglobal.com and Bree, B-R-I, at innerwealthglobal.com. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time to ask for support, for service. We're always looking for awesome new members for Inner Wealth Mastermind, our Inner Wealth Mastermind, which is a collection of entrepreneurs and driven individuals who really want to get the most out of themselves. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to deliver a training. Now, I expect this to be somewhere around a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. This isn't your average Facebook Live or just social media live. I really want to get inside of your heart, and I want to get inside of your mind, and I want to help you get the very, very best of yourself, from yourself and into the world. So over the next half an hour, 45 minutes, I'm going to give you 5 powerful, super powerful concepts that when you embrace these, when you execute, when you really unpack them, they will change the way you perceive life, and they will change the outcomes and results that you experience just being who you are. So I'm going to give you 5 powerful concepts. Guys, we're also going to take this and use it for a podcast episode and for reels. So we're really gonna leave, like, I want to leave nothing behind. I want to really give everything I've got. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Bree's watching the chat as well. I've got the chat. Yeah, Jason, what's up, my man? Hey, so we're gonna get started. All right. So reach out, make sure you stay connected. This isn't just about me talking. This is about us giving as much value as possible and you extracting as much value as possible. And we'll keep going until everybody's gotten their fill. So listen, 5 powerful concepts, mindset and heart set concepts, that when you harness these, you will get the very, very best of what you have to give to the world and what life has to offer. Here we go. Here's concept number 1. You are not your thoughts. emotions, or circumstances, but you are the perceiver of all of these things. Listen, this is by far and away the most challenging of these 5 concepts. If you look at most of society and humanity, they're living, people, 8 billion people in the world are living as though they are their thoughts. Have you ever noticed that no matter how hard you try, sometimes most of the time, this thing will not shut off? You have thoughts, and I like to call them stray arrows. Thoughts just happen. Thoughts think themselves. Like, think about this. You're sitting at a computer, and think about if you're interfacing with the computer and you've got your keyboard and you're typing on the keyboard, and every once in a while, out of the speakers from the laptop or from your computer, like, these messages just keep coming and they won't shut up. And you're interfacing with the computer and you're programming and you're problem solving and you're investigating and you're researching. And every once in a while, you just got these random messages that pop up and these voices that come out of the speakers. This is like your mind. You're interfacing with your brain on a regular basis and problem solving and looking to solve that problem in your life and looking to create that new level of wealth or success. And every once in a while, you just get these messages that just pop out of nowhere. Hey, the economy's going to collapse. Hey, your wife's going to leave you. Hey, you're going to die. Hey, your kid's in trouble. You just get these straight arrow thoughts and they come out of nowhere. And sometimes we react and we respond to every single one of them like they're true. Listen, if you're anything like the other 8 billion people on the planet, and I say that tongue in cheek, you are not those thoughts. Those thoughts are happening, and you are the observer, the perceiver of those thoughts. Thank you. Nick just asked a question. Did he miss anything? And Bree Baker, the operations director, the director of operations for Inner Wealth Global, is on the line interfacing with you guys. So thank you, Bree. Guys, listen, you are not your thoughts. These thoughts happen, but you do not need to react. You do not need to respond, and you don't need to believe every thought that you think. Thoughts happen, but they are not you. And thoughts create emotion. Have you ever noticed that when you have a thought and then you have an emotion, or you immediately have an emotion, if you think I'm going to lose everything and suddenly you get that like chill in your body or that fear in your body, and all of that cortisol that flies through your body, because thoughts create emotion. So if you believe every thought that you have and you live through every emotion that you have, then you're just reacting to, and you're being things that aren't you. And your thoughts and your emotions create your circumstances. So if you're not intentionally directing your thoughts and your emotions, you're not directly influencing, and you're not directing your circumstances either. If you ever sit still for long enough to see and observe your thoughts, you'll realize that you are not these thoughts. And the more space you put between who you identify as yourself and these thoughts, the happier, the wealthier, the more successful your life's going to be. You are not those thoughts. You are the observer of those thoughts. This is the hardest one to really connect to. But if you do, when you do, everything in your life will shift in a dramatic fashion. So you are not a human having a spiritual experience. You are spirit having a human experience. And it's the spirit that's you, the observer, the awareness of thoughts, that is directing your life, that can be directing your life if you just disassociate with those thoughts and you see thoughts instead of being your thoughts. And then when you do sit down to use your brain and problem solve, you don't have to believe everything those stray arrow thoughts tell you about what's real, what's not real. You get to decide what you believe to be true and what not. That's first, guys. So throw any comments you have about that as we move on. All right. I'll respond to any discussion as they go on. Number two is, with each and every second of your life, you get to choose who you are. So I turned 51. I will turn 51 in August. I turned 50 last year. And if you look at who I am, how you see me, and how you perceive me, there's people like Nancy on the line. Nancy is a family member, an indirect family member from when I was a child, and she watched me grow up. Nancy watched me grow up and blossom, and she saw me go through ups and downs in life. And Nancy and I were connected, 7 years ago when I was a corporate executive, and things like my life and who I am and who I identified and how people perceive me. It was much, much different than how people perceive me right now. And the reason things shifted so radically in my life, now, Jason, that's an awesome concept, right? But most people are living like the human instead of the spirit. But the reason that my life right now is so radically different, down 100 pounds, with a marriage that's made in heaven, with a purpose, and with, I don't go to work every day. I'm always at work doing my purpose work in the world through a business. I'm an employer instead of an employee. The reason my life is so radically different is because I made a single decision to be a different person. And in each and every second of your life, you are the chooser of who you are. No one or nothing, no experience, no outcome, no memory, nothing in your past defines who you are. You get to decide. If you want to wake up tomorrow and say you're an astronaut, people may tell you that you're not. But if you want to decide to be an astronaut, you can be an astronaut. You can change how you perceive yourself and who you perceive yourself to be, and start to be that person. And I guarantee you, over time, people will perceive you in that way. Now, I'm making light of the astronaut piece. But there was a time I would have told you that I'm a corporate executive, and now I just say I'm a speaker and a coach and an author and a podcaster, and people believe it because I believe it. But there was a time when I made that transition where it felt like I was lying and being a fraud, because I was identified with being an executive, and I didn't fully realize that I can change my perception of myself at any given time. I love you too, Joshua Wilson. You can change who you believe you are and how you perceive yourself at any single moment of your life. And no one can take that away from you. No one has the authority over deciding who you are in your life. You can make that choice for yourself. And this is why creating space between your thoughts, emotions, and circumstances is very healthy to take full control, full power, and full authority over your own life and your own circumstances. When you change the way you think of yourself, about yourself, you will change every single thing in your life. Number 3, you're only limited by that perception of yourself that you're holding right now. That's your entire limitation. Nothing else limits you. There are universal laws like gravity, right? But the point being is your limitations in your health, in your wealth, in your success, and in how deeply loving and powerful your relationships, all of your limitations are self-imposed and self-inflicted. And those come through the perception that you have of yourself. And oftentimes, I'll share my experience. For me, it was when I started to see myself differently, it was almost like I was beholden to who I always was and the stories of who I said I was and my preferences and my beliefs and those thoughts and the memories of the past. I thought that's who I always had to be. And it was like breaking the gravitational pull of the old Mike to create the new Mike. And you know what? I get to create whatever version of Mike that I want to create in any given second, in any given moment, on any given day. And you can too. You're only limited by your perception of yourself right now. When you change the stories of who you tell yourself that you are, everything in your life will change. And I'll go back to the very beginning. When you create space and create distance between your thoughts, your emotions, and your circumstances, then everything else in your life can change as well. Number 4, the more you think, act, and feel as a future version of yourself, the more you let go of who you've always been to become who you are becoming. So let's dive into this one, because this one's a little difficult sometimes to understand. The way you think, the way you feel, and how you behave right now is neurologically wired and programmed and conditioned into you. You literally have neural pathways in your brain specifically designed to create your thinking patterns, your feeling habits, and your daily executable habits, how you act and how you behave in the world. And these neural pathways, when they were formed by the repetitive nature of your thoughts, the repetitive nature of your emotions, the repetitive nature of your habits. Hey, Pat, brother, and you can change the way you think and feel and behave at any time you want. And as soon as you start thinking differently and feeling differently and acting differently, new neural pathways start to immediately form. And the more you think in a new way, the more you feel in a new way, the more you behave in a new way, the more you become that person who thinks, feels, and behaves in that way. Now, here's the struggle with this one is there's a psychological resistance to being different, to thinking different, to feeling different, because your brain is designed for one thing, to keep you alive. And it knows how to keep you alive right now, thinking, feeling, and behaving exactly as you are. And it feels unsafe to think and feel and act any way different. And this is why the gravitational pull of the familiar pulls you back to who you've been instead of just letting you freely go into a new world. But the more you routinely think and feel and behave in a different way, the more you will rewire, reprogram, and re-script yourself to become that person. Now, here's the beautiful part of this, is you can do this sitting on your freaking couch. And if you've ever read the great books, Think and Grow Rich, The Science of Getting Rich, As a Man Thinketh, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, anything by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's my homeboy. Anytime you sit on a couch and you think in a new way and you feel in a new way and you watch yourself operating as that, your brain does not know truth from falsehood. So when you start thinking in a new way and you start feeling in a new way and you watch the real play, you watch yourself, you visualize yourself being differently, your brain begins to rewire itself. And new neural pathways start forming, and old neural pathways start dissolving. And in Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, and this is the most beautiful title. I didn't know who Dr. Joe was until I saw the title of this book, and it's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And in that book, that beautiful, beautiful book, he talks about the brain science, the medical science of becoming a different human being by rewiring the brain chemistry, and neural pathways to become the person that you want to become the person that you know you are here to become. And this is why I go back to the more you think, act, and feel as the future version of yourself, the more you let go of who you've been and become who you are becoming. And you can do this all the time. It's not just when you're in motion. It's not just when you're in action. Do it while you're eating. Do it while you're freaking watching, journaling. Do it while you're sitting across from your wife or your spouse when you're celebrating your anniversary. Just be the new human being. Be the new thinker and the feeler and the action taker that you intend to become, and you will become that. Do not wait for physical evidence that you're a new person to become the new person. Become the new person, and the physical evidence of what that person's capable of will come true. And this is what Earl Nightingale referred to as the strangest secret. We often wait. We want to wait for new evidence that we're different to allow ourselves to think and feel and behave differently. It's the exact opposite. Do some work. Grab a journal one day and sit down and decide who you want to be in 10 years. And get really clear about who you want to be in 10 years. What do you want your body to look like? Your health, your marriage, your business. What do you want your wealth to look like? What do you want your possessions to look like? Your materials to look like? And then say, get really clear. The person who has already created that, how do they think? What thoughts do they think in their mind? How do they feel? And what actions do they take on a daily basis? And that's your work. Think in that way, feel that way, and behave that way. And all your wishes will be fulfilled. Because the person who thinks that way, the person who emotes that way, the person who behaves that way creates those outcomes. So become the person capable of doing the thing that gives you the ability to have what you want to have, not the other way around. Most people on this planet are living from a have, do, be. When I have it, I'll do this thing, and then I'll be. It's the other way around. Become the person capable of doing the thing that's capable of creating the result that you want so you can have whatever you want to have. But you practice being the new version of yourself now. You don't wait. And guys, this is the last one. And this is by far and away my favorite. And this one's fun, and it sounds miserable, and it sounds depressing until you realize the freedom that's contained in this statement. Are you ready? You are going to die. Everyone you love is going to die. Anything you build will crumble, and any legacy you leave behind will be forgotten. Don't take anything seriously. If you're not having fun, you're doing it all wrong. The easiest thing to do in this lifetime is take things way too seriously. But you know what? There's nowhere to get to for you to be okay. The goal is to be okay. The goal is to have fun. Don't take any of it too seriously. Don't take your legacy too seriously. Don't take your wealth too seriously. Don't take your success too seriously. Don't take your accomplishments too seriously. Don't even take your family too seriously, because anything that you experience in this lifetime in a couple hundred years will be gone. And this is why the most powerful thing you can do is to be fully present and enjoy every single second of your life without taking any of it too seriously, and build from a place of joy and connect with your family from a place of joy. Connect with your business from a place of joy. Create wealth from a place of joy. If you're creating any of that from a place of fear, you got it all wrong. Because anything that you're running away from, anytime you're running away from fear or building something out of fear, You're trying to build it so that it lasts forever, and that's just not going to happen. And this is a Stoic philosophy that has served me so well, that serves people so well. And there's, I was on the phone with somebody, I'm not going to mention your name, but I was on the phone with a very high achieving person on this call that's watching right now. And when I said this, don't take any of this shit too seriously. Everything that you build is going to fall apart. And anybody you love, they're going to die. You can't build anything. You won't build anything that's going to last forever. That's going to be impenetrable. Build it from a place of joy, because it's all going to fall apart. After I finished with that statement, he said, wow, like it, surprisingly, I feel better after thinking about that and hearing about that. And then a few days later, talked about downshifting and enjoying life instead of thinking there was somewhere they had to get to in order to be okay. And guys, when you stop taking life so seriously and you realize that anything that you do, anything that you build, anything that you create, anything that you accumulate, no matter what, it's all going to perish just like you and just like everybody you love. You can start to separate your thoughts, emotions, and your actions, your circumstances from your identity and who you are. And that's when you can get to live from the spirit that you are instead of from the human that you are. Because the human mind, its job is to keep you alive for eternity. And this is why it doesn't care if you're happy. The human mind doesn't care if you're happy. It cares if you're alive. The human mind would rather have you miserable and alive than happy. This is why I say if you're not having fun, you're doing it all wrong. Any thoughts, any questions, guys? Those are 5 powerful mindsets and heart sets and approaches to life that if you literally embody them, every single thing in your life will change. And this is why I say I work with millionaires and I turn millionaires into happy millionaires. Because there's some millionaires in this world. There's some billionaires in this world. I've never worked with a billionaire yet, but I've worked with a 9-figure individual. And that money that they thought was going to give them the joy in their heart that they wanted, when they got there, they realized that the money was never going to allow themselves, give themselves permission to enjoy their life. The money will give them the opportunity to create more experiences, but the money will not give them the feelings that they wanted. That's up to you. You've got to give yourself those feelings. If you want to think more highly about yourself, if you want like admiration from other people, it's your job to admire yourself. If you want to feel loved, it's your job to allow yourself to feel loved. If you want to feel like you've made an impact in the world, nobody can do that for you. You have to allow yourself to think and feel as the person who's impacted the world. And this all comes back to the power of a mindset and a heart set that's capable of experiencing fun and joy and love and feeling wealthy. The reason we want these things, the reason we want health is because we want to feel healthy. The reason we want wealth is because we want to feel wealthy. The reason we want success is because we want to feel successful. The reason we want love is because we want to feel loved. But this is a depressing fact. There are people who are healthy, who are wealthy, who are successful, who have awesome relationships that feel empty and hollow inside because they won't allow themselves to feel in a new way that's different than how they felt up to this point. They get the thing that they want, and then they still hold themselves accountable for the person that they were. And this is what creates the imposter syndrome. Guys, thanks for jamming with me. If you have any interest in joining the Inner Wealth Mastermind and getting this type of training, this type of mindset, heart set adjustment on a weekly basis, if you go to mikekitco.com, fill out the form, that'll send your information to me, and I'll be on the phone with you in a snap. But this is the kind of stuff that the work that we do in the Inner Wealth Mastermind, it's all about creating more power in you so that you can become whoever you want to become in this world, so that you can experience and have all the beauty and joy and love and wealth that this world offers. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for your time. We plan to do this once a month. So let us know how we can improve this experience. And I'm excited to jam with you again.